Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Happy New Year. It is 2016. You're not in a parallel universe. Wayne Rooney scored. Manchester United have won. But Phil Jones got injured, so we know it's real. It really did happen. But a good weekend for Manchester United. Funnily enough, I was watching the battle of Lukaku v Kane earlier on. How we'd love one of those at our number 9. And the draw is a great result because we're now only 3 points off 4th. That is Manchester United. That's what we aspire to now, apparently. But got Alex and Martin on the show tonight. We've got to be positive because it's a good win, but we do want to, we say how it is on the United Stand. We want all you two to do that as well on the live comments box tonight because tell you what, it wasn't fantastic yesterday. It could have been a draw, but we needed the 3 points, and I'm just so happy we got them. There's people on the live comment box there saying that we've got Felipe Anderson very close. I did the video about that on Saturday if anybody wants to know anything about it. And we will be discussing transfers slightly later in the show because a certain somebody has berated Manchester United and their transfer policy, and I think there's a bit of truth in that as well. But I will go to you, Martin, first. Good win for Manchester United yesterday. Give us your thoughts on the game.
Well, it was another one of those games where it just looked like we were going to have balls and balls of possession and get nothing out of it. And then it's good to see Martial pop up with a goal. For me, my man of the match, Martial or Young. I mean, what a breath of fresh air to see Rooney score. Unbelievable. I mean, the amount of times that he gets on the ball and doesn't score or plays matches and does nothing. It's been a marked improvement for him for the past 2 games, but I would still only rate him about a 6 or 7 out of 10. A lot of people were basically going, Rooney's back, he's going to set the world on fire. I'm sorry, it's just papering over the cracks. He's still, to me, a player in decline. But happy for him to get on the score sheet. I'm hoping that he has a good end of this season, to be honest. A couple of other standout performances. I think Chris Smalling was good again. And Morgan Schneiderlin coming into the team was a massive difference. Unbelievable that he's not been starting the past couple of weeks. And I thought when Swansea went to 1-1 and then they were having a couple more chances, I was thinking it was the same old story again and we were actually going to lose 2-1. But, over the moon for the win. I'm not going to turn around and say that it's Louis van Gaal in because I'm not a hypocrite. I still think that we need to have change, and he's took this team as far as he can go. But massive relief that we got the 3 points because looking at the results around us, we needed it yesterday. Because if anyone thinks we're going to win the league, we're not. It's all about the top 4 again.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Martin, because Mr. Joshi 5 years on YouTube says, Mark, would you give Van Gaal until the end of the season if results improve? That is something we're going to discuss in a minute, but I will go to Alex. Also, it's 2016. I think the best likes ratio we've ever had is 400 likes on a video. If you can all pop us a like, let's see if we can smash it on the first week of the new year. Give us a like, please. And you can also play for the second week running What's the Film in the background. But Alex, over to you. Massive Wayne Rooney fan. You must be pleased that he's back. Or is that tell?
No, I actually put a tweet out saying that, even if he didn't score, I thought Rooney actually had a pretty positive game yesterday by his standards. He was all right against Chelsea. I know he missed that chance, but he has actually seemed to be playing better. I still stand by what I've said in the past, that he's half the player he used to be, and anyone that still thinks he's capable of 30 goals a season never saw him when he actually was amazing, because back in his day he was absolutely amazing. But overall with the performance, I think we did play well. I think Anthony Martial is just absolutely amazing, but I still think it's ridiculous that a club as big as Manchester United are relying so much on someone so young. Yes, he's amazing. Yes, he's probably our best well, no, not even probably, he is our best defensive player. But we really need, I think he's our top goal scorer this season, along with Rooney on 8 goals. We really need a proper striker. When you're looking at teams like Spurs, Everton with Lukaku, Kane, even Leicester with Vardy and Mahrez, they all have players, Gaal with Watford, they all have players that are in double digits. With Manchester United, we need someone that's going to be getting the goals in. So I don't know if that means we bring a winger in. I'm sure we're going to get to transfer talk, but we need to bring either a winger in, so Martial goes up top, or we need a proven striker in that Martial can still go on the wing, because Martial's in a weird position that he's our best winger, but he's also our best striker, so it's just wherever we play him, he's going to be the best there. But I think we're putting way too much pressure on him, and chances are he will get injured at some point, and if he gets injured, I just don't see where our goals are going to come from.
Yeah, I mean, I personally like Martial on the left wing because, as I said yesterday, he's not got his back to goal. He's running forward, and that's where he's most dangerous. And I think there's a slight change. I don't think it was as good as Chelsea in the way the players approached the game. I think they went a little bit too defensive midfielders again with Schweinsteiger and Schneidlin, whereas Schweinsteiger played further forward against Chelsea. But there was more directness, certainly from Martial. Ashley Young on the right wing, we're going to talk about Mata in a moment, was a revelation. And I think that made a massive difference because it balanced the team. Like Memphis has struggled, and Martial, when we've only got one quick winger, they double up, but they couldn't double up yesterday. And Ashley Young was getting so much space out on that right-hand side. And as Carrick fan says, it was a good performance yesterday. It wasn't a good performance, sorry, but a win's a win. Owen Moxon says Smalling reminds him so much of Rio. I presume that's because of how he plays. And without Rooney, there's no United, says Ams Endor. Rooney would maybe key behind Marshall in the number 10 position, says Sam Thomas. Marshall is so good, says Han Solo shot first. Love the name there. Can you even shoot, Han, or is that a spoiler? Martin, you touched on it there. I'll give my Lee Van Gaal thing. Like you, I'm not a hypocrite. I wanted him to go 2 weeks ago. I think he should have gone 2 weeks ago. I think what I would say, somebody's calling me fickle today. It's not fickle. I want Manchester United to win. There's a big difference. I know some people didn't want us to win yesterday so that Lee Van Gaal would go. What I've realised in the last week is that Woodward isn't going to get rid of Lee Van Gaal. I think even if we'd lost yesterday, we'd still have him. All it's about for me now is fourth place, and I think fourth place is going to have to. I don't think we can afford to lose anymore. I think Chelsea will come back. So fourth place means winning games. So I think I wouldn't say I've adjusted. I still want Lee Van Gaal to go because I think the football's dire. But yeah, I think he's got to stay till the summer because that will mean fourth place. Because even 2 more losses, I think, will be crucial for that fourth place.
Yeah, like I say, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I still don't see him getting sacked. I mean, I said it 2-3 weeks ago. I said that he'll not get sacked. If anything was going to happen, he would have walked. And I think the results have gone in his favour. He's probably took a bit of pressure off himself. To be honest, I'll give him a little bit of credit because, again, if it was his team talk or he had something to do with the Chelsea performance and the team have sort of tried to turn a corner, then fair play to him. I still think he's stubborn. He still does really, really bizarre substitutions, which I just don't understand. He's doing it week in, week out. I still just don't think he gets what Man United is about. We should be going out and hammering teams and playing them off the park, and we just aren't that team anymore. And the life has been sapped out of it. So the way that I see it is that the results, if we can't get top 4, if it's looking that way at the end of February, then for me he still has to absolutely go. But I agree with you. Top 4 is priority. We can't miss out on the Champions League. So keeping continuity in the team with him and his coach and staff, and we are going to scrape these wins and get top 4, then fair enough. The football ain't going to be pretty, but we can't spend another season not in the Champions League. We have to get in the Champions League. What will be interesting is to see how much money he is given in the summer if he is kept on and he does stay. I can't imagine him being back that much this month. If we were going to sign someone, it'll be someone on the front line. But really, how much more money is he going to be given, and how many more players, attacking players, is he going to stifle? That's my main concern at the minute, because the amount of players. I mean, Memphis looks like a former shade of what he was at Ajax. Is that to do with the manager, or is that to do with the Premier League? He's got enough players around him to get to grips with this league. So there's got to be something coming from the manager. It's been good to see Martial on that left wing. You would wonder if he wasn't scoring or he wasn't putting performances, would he be stifled as well? To me, he looks like the only creative player, and you sort of wonder, is that because Louis van Gaal took the shackles off him, or is he potentially just saying, no, do you know what, I'm not going to follow your philosophy of pass, 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 because it was great to see him running at players yesterday on the left wing. He was going past players like they weren't even there. So that is quite refreshing to see. I'm hoping that that's going to continue in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, Joshua there says it's only going to get worse under Louis van Gaal, and Joshua, who commented before, also saying that it wasn't a good performance in the first half. It was boring. if people actually watched the game yesterday, I'd say Man United just about deserved to win it, but we couldn't have argued if Swansea got a draw. I don't think they were ambitious as they could have been, but it was at times quite disappointing. In fact, I think they would have been booed off at half-time if Rooney hadn't had that header just before half-time, but it was quite frustrating to watch. He is on thin ice, but I think that 3 points yesterday was massive. I mean, I'm going to come to you about Rooney, Alex. I mean, I was joking there before, but you've been quite consistent about Rooney. What I'd say about Rooney is I started off the season, I think, like Kev as well, saying, he will come good at some point, and then I sort of sided with what you were saying, that he's on the decline. The last 2 games, he's definitely, I wouldn't give him 8 or 9 out of 10, I'd give him 7 out of 10 because I think he's been so poor before that. What I don't understand is where these last 2 performances have come from, Rooney, because where's that performance been for 6 months, and why do you suddenly think he's starting to play slightly better? I mean, he can, it's like chalk and cheese. His control's a lot better. He definitely has improved.
Can I just say before I get into this, there's someone in the comment section that's copied my exact name and copied my exact profile picture, and the person saying all the retarded stuff that I take Sterling over Martial and that I play Martial at centre midfield and that Luke Shaw is a fraud and stuff isn't me. So ignore any of the stupid comments coming out from me. As I just said there, that I'll say it here that isn't actually me speaking, but
He's blocked. I blocked him.
Oh, you blocked him, okay. Make sure you didn't block me on the chat. But, yeah, in terms of Rooney, yeah, I've been one of his biggest critics in the past. But I said in the Chelsea game, I know he missed that sitter, but he has actually made a marked improvement. And yesterday, like I said again, even without the goal, which, what a finish, may I say, that was absolutely brilliant. Even without that finish, that he played really well, I thought. So I hope it's a sign of things to come. And I said all along, even when I was criticising Rooney, I said I would love nothing more than for him to prove me wrong. But at the end of the day, he got in 2015, I think it was 5 Premier League goals, and we were paying him £2.6 million for every single goal he scored. And I know he's not known throughout. I know he is one of the Premier League's top all-time leading goal scorers, but he's never been like an Henry or Van Nistelrooy that he'll get you 30 plus goals every single season. He got it twice in his entire career, 30 plus goals. But when he's our main goal scorer of the biggest team in the whole Premier League, to get 5 goals in an entire calendar year is literally inexcusable. But I think, and I know it might be unpopular and I'll probably get slated for this, but with Mata, I think Mata is offering less to the team than Rooney is now recently. And if we were to play number 10, I probably at the moment would rather take Rooney than Mata, because I think we need a right winger with pace. And Martial, I want Martial as a striker, but if not, then we have to have him as a winger. So it depends who we sign in the January window. But if we have to have a number 10, have someone drop for Herrera coming in, for example, then I would drop Mata over Rooney.
I'm going to blow loads of people's illusions now. FIFA isn't real life, but I have been playing a bit of FIFA over the holidays, and it's funny, you're right. We've been saying it anyway, but when I'm playing as Manchester United, I like Mata, but even on FIFA, it's like, where do you play him? Because Rooney's actually quite good on FIFA. You have a decent striker, swap him with Rooney, and Mata, he's no good on the right wing because he's got no pace, and this is even FIFA, but it's the same in real life as well. And Mata, to be honest, I didn't think Herrera was that good against Swansea, and I'm a massive Swansea fan. Let that out of the bag. I'm a massive Herrera fan. But Mata, I think Mata gets away with a lot because he does a blog and he's a nice bloke, but I think he needs dropping. And to be honest, I said it in the summer. I think we were speaking on the US tour, not literally, on the aftermatch review, saying I can't see Mata getting into the team this season. I think he's done really well to keep getting picked, but I just don't see him in the team, and that's why when we come into transfers in a minute, I would like us to go and buy Mane or someone like that to have a bit of pace, or play Ashley Young on the right side, because that's the question I've sort of thrown out to the live comment box as well, Martin. I mean, what's going on with Mata, and do you think it's time that he was thrown out of the team? Thrown out, that's not fair, but certainly put on the bench.
He's not a right winger. It's as simple as that. He can't cross with his right foot because he's left-footed, and when he cuts in, he's too slow to actually cut in and do anything with his left foot. To me, his best position is it's not even like a normal number 10 role, is it? It's like floating around the midfield. He's got to be given the sort of David Silva role of just being allowed to go anywhere on the pitch he wants and pick out passes. But under Louis van Gaal, that isn't going to happen because of the way that he plays in such a system and has such a rigid formation. I mean, we've been saying it for months that Mata slows the play down. Anything that comes on the right wing, he always has to check back, and by that point, the likes of Rooney's runs, Martial's runs, or even last season, the likes of Van Persie's runs just weren't being found because they were overrunning and they weren't getting the ball because it just wasn't quick enough on the right wing. So naturally, it would make sense to have Ashley Young on the right wing at the minute, and it showed yesterday him getting early crosses in and actually being able to beat a man. So where does that leave Mata? I mean, to be honest, probably on the bench at the minute next to Fellaini. I mean, I'm not comparing him to Fellaini in any way at the minute, but I definitely think that in the current team, I would rather have Herrera in. Obviously, Rooney's playing at number 9 with Martial on the left wing. So to me, Herrera's playing that number 10 role, and Herrera's much more of a box-to-box player. He can actually track back. He can put a tackle in. So even if Mata's on the bench, I can't see who he comes on for. I mean, he was getting picked constantly because he was scoring goals and he was scoring important goals, but he hasn't scored for quite a while. And actually, yesterday, the chance that he did have, he should have probably passed it when he took a couple of snapshots. He's very eager to take a snapshot instead of passing it. So yeah, for me, he probably should miss the next couple of games because I think the players, the likes of Young, are doing better in that position. I mean, even Jesse Lingard, if he's fit, I'd rather have him playing on the right wing than Juan Mata. He's a nice bloke. He writes a blog, but I mean, where does he fit into our squad at the minute? Unless he's given that freedom just to play anywhere on the pitch.
Yeah, as I said, my Milkman's a nice bloke, but he ain't coming in. I like Mata, but he's bloody slow. Definitely need a quick right winger plus a quality defender, says Deal with Limbo. Basil's on about Anderson, which is being leaked on Sky Sports at the moment. We will be touching on that. Well aware of what's going on with that, so don't worry about that. Ashley Young yesterday, Alex, was fantastic. Yet again, I'm right. I said, why is he playing at full back? He should be playing on the right. I think he put him on the right yesterday. His crossing in the first half was reminiscent of Dracula, bloody rubbish with crosses, but it got better in the second half, and he was very good. And he had one of those games which I always have said for Ashley Young for years and years, and a lot of the Villa fans I know said this when he was at there. It can be pretty average for most of the season, but he'll have 5 or 6 games a season where he's absolutely sensational. Did that, and he does do that for United. And yesterday, I think he's coming into that form. He needs to stop playing him at fullback, is my point. But next 3 games, Sheffield United, I'd love us to have a cup run. Absolutely love it. I love the FA Cup. Too long since we've won it. Do I think we'll win it? Do I, Bob? But the next 2 games after that, Newcastle up at Martin's Place, and then Liverpool away straight after that. 2 away games. I think these 3 games are absolutely massive. My bigger question, though, I mean, out of those 3 games, I think we've got to beat Newcastle, and then, I don't know, Liverpool. I actually said a couple of weeks ago that'll be the game he gets the sack, but we'll have to wait and see. But as we are now, and it's funny, I remember doing this exact same thing a year ago. If you had to put your reputation on the line, Alex, are we going to get top 4? Are you confident?
The thing is, like, before yesterday, I wasn't confident at all because we just went into such a nosedive. But then now, I think Leicester, the bubble's popped now with them, and they've got, like, 3 draws in the last few games. I think their next game is pretty hard as well. They couldn't beat 10-man Bournemouth today, or yesterday, whenever it was. And I think that we will get top 4. I still think we'll finish 3rd, but I desperately think that we need to sign another player. Well, another few players actually, really, in January if it's possible. But we just need it seems absolutely crazy that we sold all our strikers. We sold 3 strikers in the summer, and we only bought 1, Anthony Martial, and we don't even play him as a striker. We play him as a winger. So it seems, I don't know what was going through Van Gaal's head. And Martial we only signed on deadline day. So why would you think that you could go into a new season, say that it would have all fallen through with Martial? We would have gone into the season as Rooney as our only striker. So then say Rooney gets injured, we'd have had no strikers. We'd have had to be relying on Wilson or Will Keane or someone as our striker. It seems absolutely farcical. I don't know. I think we will bring. I think we will bring players in. I think we will spend a lot in January. I know there aren't that many links with us. I know Lewis said already that we're linked with apparently Felipe Anderson. We're going to sign from Lazio. I can't really comment on him because I haven't seen much of him, but I think it's quite interesting to see that Mane was left out of the squad yesterday because apparently for discipline reasons, not because he's injured. So I think maybe we've come back in for him, and that he's maybe tried to force a move. But then again, Koeman already said like 2 weeks ago or a week ago that none of Southampton's players are moving in the summer, and they seem to be quite resolute. Because if you remember with Schneiderlin last season, he tried to force a move in the summer, and they said you're not for sale. Tried to force it in January, you're not for sale. So they seem to be, when they don't want to sell a player, they're not going to sell a player. And I saw something on like Sky Sports that like, oh yeah, Mane is available for 62 million. And I think we are really stupid with money, but I'd like to think we're not that stupid.
I think most players are available for 62 million. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, I'll come to Martin probably after we've done the transfers then about whether you're confident we'll get top four, and I'll give my thoughts on that as well. But we may as well hit on the transfers then, because I know that's what everyone loves in January, and we certainly do as well. Matt Law from The Telegraph was reading this before we come on air. It's a very good article, basically saying that the transfer policy that Woodward and Louis van Gaal have been running for the last 18 months is farcical. Sort of the similar to what Alex was saying there, how if they hadn't got Martial at the last minute, where would their season be? You know, the clear out of the dead wood was good, but we didn't bring any new wood in. You know, we hardly had a fire to burn. But Felipe Anderson, yeah, you know what? Anita says here, Felipe Anderson is basically Memphis, but less of a talent, and he's not Premier League proven. I've done a video on Felipe Anderson. If people want to watch that, and Mane, when you watch this, go and have a look. It's more in depth. But essentially, Premier League proven is my word for the year, because that's what we need, whether we replace Louis van Gaal or players. The next manager has got to be Premier League proven. The players we bring in now in January have got to be Premier League proven. We're going to have to pay a premium. They won't be the best of the best because nobody in the Champions League is going to come to us. But I tell you what, if you went to Spurs and you went to Everton, neither of them in the Champions League, £60 million, I reckon they'd be biting on that for Lukaku or Kane. Why don't we do that if we want to spend £60 million? That's the sort of deal we should be doing. Do I think we'll do it? God, no, I don't. Do I think we'll do Felipe Anderson? Probably. If you don't know anything about Felipe Anderson, he's 22, he's 23 in April, plays for Lazio. He had a good season last year. In fact, we covered him last summer. I remember doing the shows last summer with Alex and Martin and the others. And when Felipe Anderson was a player we were looking at buying last summer, and I think most of us thought, yes, he's quick, he's two-footed. He is two-footed, but he's predominantly right-footed. And he's not had a very good season for Lazio this season, which is what I was going to come to. He's played 17 times, got 4 goals, 2 assists. Now, granted, Lazio aren't doing very well, but the Serie A isn't a very good league anyway. I think he's a big risk, Martin, and I don't, you know, this is maybe what Matt Law was saying in the Telegraph, that Manchester United's transfer policy, they seem to roll into each one going, yeah, we're going to get Neymar, we're going to get Bale, we're going to get Ronaldo, and then they end up spending 30 or 40 million pounds on somebody like Felipe Anderson, who we were linked to in the summer. I would go for Mane's Premier League proven.
I mean, I don't know enough about Felipe Anderson either, but to be honest, an attacker in the Italian league coming to the Premier League, when has that ever worked out? I mean, I know he's not Italian, but I'm just saying the Italian league is a far cry from the Premier League. For us to spend 35 million in January on someone like that is a massive risk. Alex hit the nail on the head perfectly with selling the likes of Van Persie. I mean, I would have rather I wanted Hernandez to go, but I would have kept him as a bench player. I mean, we've got absolutely nothing up front. So I would, if we've got money to burn, Lukaku for me is the answer. If we were going to buy someone in January, Everton won't sell him. If we're going to go for Mane, I think he's only got 4 Premier League goals this season. I mean, if Southampton were going to sell him, they'll have our pants down at 30 to 40 million. He's not even worth 25 million in my opinion. But yeah, our transfer policy is ridiculous. I mean, it's been ridiculous since Woodward came in. I mean, who have we really had a good deal on apart from the likes of Schweinsteiger, who we got for absolutely pennies? But we overpay so much for players, it's ridiculous. And we sell players for absolutely nothing. I mean, to be honest, I would rather Van Gaal was not given any money in January and actually see how he does with the squad he's got. Wilson shouldn't have gone on loan. I'd rather pull him back. I honestly don't know who we're going to go for. I'm pretty sure the Bale and Ronaldo rumours will kick in the next week or so. The likes of the Sun haven't had anything good to write about for the past week, so we'll see what happens with there. But I honestly don't know who we're going to go for. We'll probably end up going for someone that Dembele from Fulham. and then loan them back to them, and then we'll not sign anyone else. That's the kind of thing Man United will do. And then we won't even see him until 2 years' time or something. Similar with Wilfried Zaha. We're just not good in the transfer window. We haven't been for years.
What I would say is they're coming into that is obviously Red Rumours is at 4 o'clock tomorrow. It's a very, very good one. Make sure you watch that. But we will be reacting with any transfer news as we always did through the summer, and we will be through January. And we'll probably be having shows on 9 o'clock on Tuesday and Thursdays again, just to round up the transfer news and get all your thoughts on that. It's interesting. People are saying there Marnie's not been that good this season. And very like Anderson, he was very good last year, getting loads of assists. But he is Premier League proven. I think he had his head, his head's not right. And I just think, he is quick and he's a hard worker and he tracks back. It's interesting as well because I can't really think of any Manchester United players that we've had that are from the African continent that have done well. So that'd be interesting as well. But I'd take Marnie over Anderson. I like Anderson. I really hope it would work out well, and it looks like it's going to be done. But Alex, is there anybody else? People are mentioning Mahrez. I don't think Leicester would sell him. They've got 2 good players, haven't they? Why would they sell him? But people are going about Isco. I think he's going to City.
Yeah, I heard the Isco to City rumours. I think he's definitely leaving. Another person who I've seen linked with moving, but I definitely don't think it will happen in January at least, is James Rodriguez from Real Madrid. But I have a feeling with, especially linked with how he's playing at the moment, that Hazard is going to go to Real Madrid. So I think in the summer, James Rodriguez might be available and we could go for him then, which we were linked with him before he went to Real Madrid when he was at Porto. Before he went even to Monaco, we were linked with him. So I think that's someone that's been on our radar for a long time. Mahrez will never get in January. Lukaku will never get in January. Harry Kane will never get in January. I think with maybe not so much with Everton, but with Tottenham, even if you threw 60 million at them, like you were saying for Harry Kane, I don't think they'd sell because they're going for top 4 at the moment. I think the Champions League means more to them, more to Daniel Levy than getting that little bit of money. I know he is quite greedy when it comes to money, but I genuinely don't think they'll sell Harry Kane. I'm not even sure if Harry Kane would even leave even in the summer, even for a club like United, because I think he wants to be part of Tottenham for at least another 2 years. But in terms of who we can bring in January, it's so hard. I know it's going to be a really unpopular, and I'll probably get slated for it, but you have to bear in mind of who you can actually bring in. And as a second striker, like a backup, I know you'll be against it. Do you even know who I'm going to say by you shaking your head?
Charlie Austin, I bet.
That's exactly who I was about to say. Because just as a backup, I know Liverpool have Danny Ings, and he was doing all right for them before he got his injury. And I think Charlie Austin is better than Danny Ings, and he thrived in a team that was creating even more chances than we are at the moment, but a team that didn't create that many chances. And I know Charlie Austin isn't a Galactico signing, but you have to think who we can bring in. And he wouldn't be, obviously, as our United's main striker, and I would never, ever think that Charlie Austin should lead the line at United. But I think as a backup striker, he would be a good signing. But because you have to realise you can't bring in the best, the cream of the crop in January. So I think Charlie Austin would be a good signing. I'd love Mane as well, but I don't think you can sign him in January.
I'd rather have Charlie Nicholas than Charlie Austin, but Rick Worley says Roos is a good shout. He is. He's at Dortmund. I don't think they're in the Europa League. Forget Ronaldo, forget Bale, forget anybody who's in the Champions League. There is one player actually who's in the Champions League who I think we've got a chance of getting, but I'm not going to ruin Red Rumours. So you have to watch that tomorrow at 4 o'clock. But what I forgot to say about Anderson is I have watched him play quite a lot, and he is, like I say, he's quite right-footed, although he can use his left. He's just like Nani. And I was thinking about that when Alex was bringing up his Charlie Austin thing. Well, Austin's no better, not even as good as Hernandez. And this is the frustrating thing I think United fans have at the moment is, let's get Felipe Anderson. He's not much better than Nani, who we let go. Let's get Charlie Austin because he's available, but Hernandez was better and we let him go. Robin van Persie, we let him go. And I think this is where Matt Law's getting, and I think this is where we're getting at, is that the transfer policy at United is so haphazard. We've had players that we got rid of that are actually would be better for us to be here. People are on about Januzaj. I think he should come back because he's not playing much at all. But it is a bit of a shambles, and I can see us buying someone like Berahino from West Brom, who's an absolute disgrace. And no, I'd rather we don't buy anybody, to be honest, than buy some of the rubbish that's being mentioned. Shane Long, someone's just mentioned then. Not So yeah, transfers very interesting. Do keep an eye on the United stand. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Like the video. I don't know why I'm wrapping up, but what I was going to say about transfers is we will be on the ball with that. So do keep an eye out. We've already got a video up on Mane and Anderson if you want a bit more information on those, and I'm sure there'll be a lot more names coming through. Personally, I think a centre back, a midfielder, and a right midfielder and a striker would be perfect. Whether we'll get that, I don't know, but. Go back to what we were talking about, Martin. Somebody in the comments section says we'll thrash Newcastle next week. I seem to remember us getting a last-minute winner against the run of play last year when they were probably worse than they are this year. I don't think that's going to be very easy at all. I think Anfield is a bloody nightmare. It's always my worst game of the season, no matter how good Liverpool are, because, you know, be fair, it is their cup final, and they do make it one game a season quite intimidating at Anfield. And I'm not confident we can go there and beat them, but. So I'll let you go first. I mean, if I had to put you on the spot now, are you confident we're going to get top 4?
I can't answer. I'm going to the game. I'm going to the Newcastle game, and I think it'll be very similar. I think the past 3 or 4 years we played Newcastle at St James's around this time of year in the same conditions. It'll be wet, it'll be windy, it'll be horrible. And it'll be interesting to see if the players are really up for it, because, funny enough, that was the start of that last year when we actually went on that run of games. We had a poor Christmas last year. I think we scraped a win, and then we beat Newcastle 1-0, and we went on that run. So I'm hoping that yesterday will give us a bit of a kick up the arse. If we beat Newcastle and we go into the sort of the run-in with a couple of wins behind our back, then yes, I'll have to be confident that we're going to get top 4. I have to be, because, you know, what's the point in supporting a team if you're not going to have hopes that they're going to do well? So yes, I'm confident that we should get top 4, but I still worry about our style of football, especially away from home. It'll be interesting to see who plays in midfield as a defensive pairing. I just have a horrible feeling that we'll see Fellaini at St James's Park. I really do. And Newcastle haven't been playing that badly at the minute. They've had a bit of a resurgence, and St James's is quite a difficult place to go, to be honest. The fans are always behind the team, even when they're playing shite. So be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to it. We've got to be confident. We've got to get top 4.
See, this is why I think we need, if we're going to buy people, it's, you know, Woodward's backed Lou Van Gaal. He's got to back him in the transfer market early in January. I don't think he will. He always seems to wait late. But we've got that 3 massive points against Swansea. We're now going to Newcastle and Liverpool, which will be difficult games no matter where they are in the league. I mean, Newcastle probably deserved to get something at top of the league, Arsenal, yesterday. And it appalls me that Arsenal are going to win the league, which is, you know, I think he should be sacked just for letting Arsenal win the league, because they are, you know, jelly babies, as I call them, totally spineless. But I think they'll win the league this year, and I think that's a sackable offence. But it's funny about Fellaini. He played 4 games in a row. We lost. We don't play him for 2 games, and we play a lot better. And, you know, we've been saying that for a long time. But can we get top 4? I mean, somebody just said there that we're going to pay £35 million plus add-ons for Felipe Anderson. I know a lot about Felipe Anderson. He's not worth that. Why are we paying an Italian club £35 million? They're desperate for money, and yet again, we're going to overpay for somebody. And I tell you what, when we bought Felipe Anderson for £35 million, we'll probably sell Martial for £2 million to Lyon, because that's exactly the sort of rubbish transfer dealings we do. But I'm getting heads up. But will we get top 4? I've got to believe we'll get top 4, because where's the progress from last year? Like I said, we've had this conversation last year. Will we get top 4 at exactly the same time? Why are we doing it a year on? We're meant to be progressing under Louis van Gaal. To be honest, the football's probably not even as good as it was last year. The squad certainly isn't, and we are now in a position where we're worried about top 4. Because going back to what Alex said, I've been saying that if we're going to get a new manager, I mean, I'm not sure about Jose Mourinho, but I like Koeman and I like Pochettino. And I tell you what, watch Spurs today. They were really unlucky not to beat Everton, which would have mean 5 points ahead of us. I don't think Spurs are going anywhere. City have got top 4. Arsenal get top 4. So that basically means it's down between us, the pack of West Ham and Liverpool and everyone else like that, and the hope that Leicester will drop points, because I think Spurs are going to get top 4. They're a very good side, but I'll say yes, we will get top 4, because I've got to believe we'll get top 4. But it's by no means guaranteed, and I think that's the big shame. But Alex, anything you wanted to cover? Let me just make sure I've covered everything that I wanted to do. I mean, I suppose what I would say is, do you think that he's going to keep playing Rooney at number 9, and do you think that's going to work?
I think after the goal he will keep playing him at number 9, but I think it entirely depends on like who we sign. Like with Felipe Anderson, I think like he's primarily like I've read that I haven't seen him play, but he's an attacking midfielder, and I heard he's like not primarily a winger, is he? So I think we would be signing him to play as a winger because obviously with his pace and everything. But in terms of top 4, I definitely think we will get top 4 now. It just literally crushes me to think of like the amount of easy damn games that we've lost, because if we would have won against all these absolute pub teams, and when you look at the team lineup, they are pub teams compared to us, let's be fair. It's not being arrogant, it's just being honest. If we would have won like against Bournemouth, against Leicester, against like all these teams, it's like, and I know every team can look back on these games like this season's been crazy and everyone's been beating everyone, but if we'd have just like won some of these, we'd actually be like top of the league or right within the title chance. I know Van Gaal still says we're in with a title chance, but it's just so frustrating because I still truly think we'll come third if I'm being honest now. But I think in order to come third, we need to invest, and I really hope we will invest.
Yeah, I do. I think it comes down to Woodward and whether he invests or not. I mean, you look at the points we've dropped. Even Newcastle at home, 0-0, terrible. West Ham, Bournemouth, Norwich. I mean, the amount we've dropped some massive points this year. But I don't know. I'm not convinced about the top 4 because you think Newcastle and Liverpool away, they're difficult. We've got Southampton at home, Stoke at home. They're no guarantees the way we're playing it at the moment. We've got Arsenal to come. We've got to go to City. We've got to go to Spurs. We've got like I say, Arsenal. We've got to go to Chelsea. There's not that many games left, and we've got a lot of games to come. But I've said everything I need to say, Martin. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for watching. Please give the video a like and see you all soon.
And thanks for coming on, Alex.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. And like Martin said, give the video a like and everything. And thanks for watching, everyone.
Yeah, cheers everyone for watching. A lot of you watching again. January's it's a bit of a miserable month because Christmas is over, but actually if you just throw yourself into football, there's so much going on. Transfer shows, like I say, we'll be doing them almost daily, I'm sure. And we've also got Red Rumours coming up tomorrow at 4 o'clock, which is a pre-record, but it's very, very good. Thanks for watching, everybody. And we will probably be live on Tuesday and Thursday at 9 o'clock as well, just to discuss some more transfers because we love transfers. And hopefully Woodward will get his hand out of his pocket and remove it from his backside and buy some players, because I think we'll get away with it against Sheffield United, but we've got Newcastle a week on Tuesday and we need to go and buy these players. That's all I'm going to say. Thanks for watching. Like the video. It'd be nice to crack over 400 likes on our first one of the year. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. It is the United Stand. It is your channel, and we will be back probably tomorrow with some talk about transfers. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all later.